That's an odd, strange sound. I'm never here on Tuesdays. So happy Tuesday. Today is part 2 of the exciting follow-up to the review of technologies. Today's a little bit more about how to combine some of these technologies, if that's what your goals are. Today, I'm going to go over a few reasons as to why you would combine tools. And a few favorite ways that I like to combine some of the technologies that LifePro offers. Just like fitness, there's never one path to success. And many of you employ different things and you have different self-care tools around the house. So naturally, it's pretty common to get curious about how do I combine this with that, or should I use this with that? So today, I will probably leave a healthier amount of time for questions, because the possible combinations of combining just not even the technologies, but some of the tech itself is the possibilities would be hundreds and hundreds. If you're joining me today, I would love it if someone could let me know if they see and hear me. If you are joining me today, I see I've got a few of you here. Please let me know that you see and hear me, where you are joining me from. And if you've got your own combo, your little own recipe of how to combine your self-care tools, I would love to hear what your little tips and tricks are as well. So towards the end of the live, I am going to, like I say, leave some time for questions. If I'm just going to double check on Facebook, make sure I'm coming through on the other end. I seem to be. And it looks, today is part 2, so it looks like my stream hasn't necessarily got started here yet. Today is session 2. This is coming up on Facebook as number 1. Okay, back at it. So for those of you this is 2 is what I've put in the stream. So for those of you that are joining me, thank you. I see that there's 4 of you there. If one of you would just let me know whether you can see and hear me, I'd appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about a few different scenarios. Yesterday, I talked a little bit more about the benefits, some of the contraindications. Primarily, yesterday, we spoke about PEMF, infrared, red light, vibration plates, and vibration guns. And if you didn't join me yesterday, I kind of broke LifePro's different technologies into passive versus mechanical types of therapies. So selecting a therapy for fitness or health always has a lot more to do with you personally. There is no cookie cutter. Thank you, Facebook user, for letting me know. But I am curious to share not only my experience to give you guys some ideas, but if you are combining any of your LifePro self-care tools right now, I'd love to hear your combos. So I'm going to jump into some demos. First, I want you to, when you're looking at combining tools, there's a couple of questions that you should have in the front of your mind. Obviously the big one being, why do you want to combine them? There's a couple of common reasons that you may want to combine your self-care tools. Probably the biggest one is to save on time. A lot of these therapies are 30 minutes, even an hour. You got 10, 15-minute vibe plate workout. If you're doing them one after another in order, if you've got the time, great. But many of you are looking to get more done in less time. So probably the number one reason you'd want to combine tools is to reduce the amount of time that you spend treating yourself. The second would be you're obviously looking for more results. Now, the word results itself, it means something different to everyone. Maybe you're looking for fitness results. Maybe you're looking for pain relief. Maybe you're looking to get swelling to dissipate. So the results mean something different to everyone. But there are some advantages to combining some of these technologies to boost results. Now, whether that's, you've plateaued or whether you are, maybe you've got a new situation in your life, you've had an injury or you've had a surgery. So there's lots of different reasons that may motivate you. The first reason that you may be considering combining tools is, you got to make sure it aligns with your goals. So what are the goals? Is it just self-care? Is it fitness? Is it a combination of both? You're also going to need to consider your current ability. What are you able to do? And willing is whether you have the ability or not, it is also a mindset. You're all going to have different tolerances and sensitivities to each of the individual technologies themselves. And today, last session, I talked a little bit about, how to develop and build up tolerances. And if you are starting any of these therapies for the first time, the biggest thing I want you to take away with, if you're starting out for the first time, is not to combine a whole bunch of different things right off the bat. And what I mean by that, maybe you got a vibration machine and a gun and a red light panel, there was a good deal and you did a bundle or something. If you're dealing with chronic issues and you've got some chronic health concerns, especially pain, fatigue, things like that, it's important to let your body be introduced and, assimilate to the technologies individually. So I wouldn't start everything all at once. I'd like you to understand how your body reacts and, what your tolerance levels are, what settings are most comfortable. So it is best if you're looking at doing some self-care for the first time with some of these technologies, get used to one technology first before you start integrating others. So today I'm going to lean a little more towards my existing LifePro members that have something and you want to add something to it, or you've got different tools right now and you want to combine them together and you're just not really sure what the best approach is. So I've got a few examples here today, and I mentioned yesterday in my live shoes or no shoes, someone commented, I'm always in bare feet on my machines. Yes, I am. I do prefer using my vibration plate barefooted. Socks. We weren't born with shoes. And I feel a lot of the times, when you're first starting out, I want you to start with what's comfortable. But we weren't born with shoes. And sometimes the orthotics and the structure of the shoe itself, the foot can cheat a little bit. It gives you a little more grip on the plate. The muscles are, kind of relying and leaning on the shoes for support versus all of the muscles in your feet being engaged as part of the process, trying, to keep yourself stable or in contact with the machine. So if you've never tried it without shoes and you're a regular user, I recommend trying it at the very least. I've got so many chairs here. So the first combination I want to talk about, in case you haven't noticed, I'm sitting on the new mini PEMF mat, and I've got my feet on a vibration plate. So I am still on a bar height stool. This one's got a bit of a back on it. And I've got my controller here beside me. The first thing I want you to make sure if you're looking at combining tools is make sure you got all the tools and all the remotes and everything else you might set up throughout the course of your session. Have a glass of water, TV remote, whatever that may be. My first favorite way to combine tools is to use a vibration machine before and after, if possible, everything else. A vibration machine is a catalyst. I talked yesterday about how it's a mechanical stimulus. It's the only therapy that LifePro offers that gives you the advantages of weight-bearing exercise. So better bones, better strength, weight loss if that's the goal. Stability, balance, better mobility, flexibility, all those things. But for many of you, you're starting in a place well below baseline. I like to use my vibration plate seated. A lot of times maybe I'm just sitting here and I'm clearing emails or my Facebook. But now that I've got this new mini mat, it makes it a lot easier for me to combine not only pulse electromagnetic field therapy, it also allows me to combine infrared. The mat offers you both therapies. So technically right now, I am doing whole body vibration plate, I am doing infrared, and I'm also doing PEMF. I have been using these technologies all for the better part of a decade. My body is very well accustomed to what these technologies are. There is no rule as far as how many things can be combined. It's something you're going to have to experiment with, and it's going to vary for everyone. But if you're dealing with below baseline, you're a chronic, you've got chronic issues galore. Sometimes combining technologies together will give you relief faster. Many of you are looking to reduce time, but on the other end of the spectrum, many of you need relief right now. It's not that you don't have the time to do the therapies. It's you need to manage your pain, or you're in a situation where you just need to sustain and get through your day. So combining your technologies, a vibration plate will better prepare your body to receive whatever it is you're doing next. It's going to boost that circulation, that lymph. By combining it with PEMF and infrared sauna, you're ramping up, certainly in a seated position for those of you that deal with poor mobility, poor range of motion. You're not able to stand on the plate for long periods of time yet. This is a great way to get a little bit more benefit while you're using your vibration plate. We're ramping up pain relief. I was moving a whole bunch of things around in the yard yesterday. My back's a little bit overworked, so I'm enjoying the heat from the infrared today. Even though it's hot outside, it's a different thing when it's just treating that area of concern. Pulse electromagnetic field therapy. I talked about the benefits yesterday. It's very passive. It's not something you're going to feel in the form of heat or movement like the plate, but you may experience, if you've got areas of deficiency, scar tissue, nerve damage, lesions, recent injuries that you're trying to repair. A lot of times when you're sitting using your vibration plate, it's because you're not necessarily in a position to bear weight. That may be because of your overall health, but a lot of times maybe you've just had shoulder surgery or you've had a procedure and you're not able to bear weight yet. You can ramp up and accelerate your recovery benefits by combining these technologies. You can use the plate before and after any of these technologies, as I started with, but this is my new example. I did have another favorite, but now that I've got the mini mat, I wanted to show you this example today. So this is a really good one. If you've got the full size and you're using it on a bed surface, you can also sit on the mat and expose your feet off the edge of the bed. That's another good way to do it. Or, use the PEMF mat if you're dealing with really, really severe pain. You might want to use your mat as a precursor for the vibration plate. Your muscles are relaxed, they're a little warmed up until you are able to bear weight. A quick little tip I do want to show you. A lot of people asked me after the fact yesterday, if I can only sit on the machine, what do I do for upper body? You can get some more movement. You're still getting total body circulation and lymph in a seated position. But if you want a little more direct, relaxation, maybe you got stiff shoulders, maybe you're trying to work these areas and recover, but you're not able to do, let's say, pulling exercises or a traditional push-up, you can do two things. When your feet are on the plate, just a quick precursor, closer is less intense, wider is more intense. The wider you go does not necessarily give you more benefit. What benefit are you looking for? More intensity, more impact? That's what you're getting going wider. So the machine's not going to do all of the work. So going as wide as you can and as fast as you can is probably going to be a little intimidating the first time out. For this type of exercise, especially if you're below baseline, I want your feet no more than hip width apart. It's more functional. For the upper body, if you find once I add this, it's too strong, control the intensity by bringing your feet closer. And I think you'll find a mid to high speed with a closer foot placement is a much better starting point for chronic issues, or maybe you're just a little fearful, versus going wide and slow and choppy. We have this mentality with vibration plates to start slow, and we think of that in the form of speed. I would prefer you start thinking to start conservatively. And the mid speeds are going to be a little smoother, a little less destabilizing. The slower speed ranges are very choppy, very destabilizing. They're supposed to be. They're about balance and stability. Many of you want to improve your balance and stability but I don't necessarily want to challenge it too much just yet. So if you're stuck with seated for now, for the arms, we're going to lock the elbows and we're just going to simply place them on our knees, and you'll feel a little bit of movement in the upper body. Keep in mind the whole time, I've still got my PEMF mat going. So I'm getting that treatment while I'm working on physical movements on the machine. If you want more intensity and your range of motion allows, before widening your feet, try coming with your elbows onto your knees. And if you place your arms nice and upright, your shoulders just over your knees, you'll find this is a very relaxing position, and it's awesome to just sit here and do your texting and talk to your grandkids or whatever you're doing. If range of motion allows, come down and put your arms on the plate. Put them on your feet. Any time that your hands or your elbows get in contact with the movement, it's going to reciprocate, and you're going to notice you're going to get some motion in the upper body. Really good way to target lymph a little bit further, relax some tight muscles, get some circulation going. If range of motion does not allow you to get down on the floor, or you're not comfortable using your arm straps due to balance yet, this is a better starting point. Just get the arms moving, get that circulation and that lymphatic movement improved until your range of motion or your personal situation changes. So this is combo number 1. While I'm sitting you here, I'm going to show you my favorite second way to combine tools. I'm sure most of you have seen this. This is the LifePro Sonic massage gun. And yesterday in the session, I talked about massage guns and vibration plates are a mechanical stimulus of frequencies. You physically feel them moving or being applied to your body. So my second favorite combo, and I guess I'm combining 3 things now, is using a massage gun while I'm using the vibration plate. Many of my clients deal with restless leg, poor lymphatic system, neuropathy, these type of things. So just like a vibration machine, when you're using a massage gun, I recommend using a mid-speed range, but there's a trick with the massage gun, and I'm going to come close to the camera for this one. So I'm going to be using this on my legs, but I want to show you specifically for those of you that have used a massage gun and have maybe not had the best experience, it was too strong, you were black and blue after the fact. There is a trick to using a massage gun. So just like a vibration machine, there's 2 factors. There's the speed, how many times it's moving back and forth. And there's also what's referred to as amplitude. Amplitude on the plate is how close or how far apart your feet are. With a massage gun, it's how far the shaft is moving each time it strikes you. So if you're very sensitive, if you got little itty bitty hands, something like the Mini is not only a smaller gun, but it tends to have smaller displacement. It's about 9 millimeters, I believe. The Sonic is 11. You get into some of the other models, it's 12. That just means the distance of the shaft in this gun is moving further, and the strike force is going to be a little bit stronger. So my favorite way to start with a massage gun, especially if you have chronic issues or tolerance issues, if you've ever been for a massage, we have a mentality with the gun that we think we need to apply all this pressure. And if you don't have good grip strength to begin with, just hanging onto the gun is going to be a challenge. Just holding onto it like this is going to improve your grip strength within a week. Just hanging on to it for 2 to 3 minutes a day sitting in your chair. Okay, so I want you to have good grip strength. What's nice about a massage gun versus some of the massagers is, if you do have range of motion or frozen shoulder issues, sometimes it's hard to maneuver and do things yourself. So a massage gun is a little bit more versatile that way. But here's the trick. Let the gun do the work. I always say the vibration machine is not going to do all the work, but with the gun, it absolutely can. And what you want to make sure you do, I've got the speed cranked right up on this. It's not quite at top, but close. And most people think, well, because you're pressing so hard, typically when you start, that you don't want to turn it up. But bring the speed up, and what you'll see is I'm just skimming. See, it's barely even touching my skin as opposed to pressing into the arm, okay? If you're dealing with chronic issues and you bruise easily, you want to just very lightly stimulate the lymphatic vessels, which lay just below the skin surface. And if you've got tolerance issues, just get used to how this feels. Play with the speeds, but the amount of pressure you physically apply is really what controls the intensity, regardless of what gun you're using. So again, I'm going to show you a little demo here. If I'm just skimming the surface of my skin, okay, it's quite tolerable. It's a little bit ticklish, just like a vibration machine. It might get a little bit itchy when you're first starting. And look what happens when I press. Not only does it get harder to physically keep the darn thing in place, but my hand is like reacting. You know, it's not terribly pleasant, especially in areas where you have not a lot of meat on your bones. You know, if I'm massaging my thigh, you know, I don't mind pressing in a little bit, but so many of you are dealing with carpal tunnel, sensitivity issues in the arms and the hands. And I wanted to show you this tip quickly because guess what? This is something you can use and incorporate while you're seated on your vibration plate. So let's go back there. So back to the vibration plate. So while your lower body is getting some action, okay, I showed you the trick with putting the elbows on, but maybe you want a little bit more specific action. While your legs are moving and you're getting all this relaxation through the plate, you can sit here and use your massage gun at the same time. This one's kind of a no-brainer, but sometimes you just don't think about it because you never saw anybody else doing it before. For my clients that have restless leg, you're dealing with poor circulation in the legs, my lymphedema, my lipedema crowd, it's a really great combination to work the legs while you've got the legs on the machine, okay? Usually if you're working the legs, you know, you're sitting anyways. This is just another way to really just wrap up in combination with these tools to get more circulation, more lymph, dissipate more swelling, reduce pain sooner. So this is a really great way, especially if you're short on time or you need relief right now. You can use your plate and your gun at the same time. Again, the whole time I'm sitting here getting my PEMF and my infrared as well at the same time. So this is a great combo. Again, biggest tip I can give you with the massage gun is ramp it up, skim the surface versus, you know, making it a workout on the arm, just trying to press things into your skin. Again, to my lymphedema crowd, you're prone to bruising, and there's lots of conditions that are. So sometimes you're scared away from the massage gun because logically you think, yeah, you're going to get bruised. But if you just change how you apply the tool, just skim the surface, and what you'll find after a little bit as well, you're probably going to be able to add a little bit more pressure as things have loosened and tightened up. I want to make one little point because this commonly comes up after the fact. If you are dealing with lumps and bumps in the form of lymphomas, under your skin surface, lymphomas are little fat deposits. They can be very painful. Work around the surface to get the circulation going of that lymphoma, kind of like a cinnamon bun action. So let's say I had a lump of lymphoma on my forearm. Lymphomas can present anywhere on your body. Go in a little bit of a circle. Work the area around it very lightly, just stimulating those lymphatic vessels, getting the circulation going. And then as you start feeling comfortable, you know, come in a little bit like a cinnamon bun and then work your way back out. And many of my clients need to surgically have lymphomas removed. No guarantee that they're not going to grow back. But I've seen a lot of massage gun action breaking these things up, making them smaller, and in some very successful, consistent use instances, dissipating completely. Much better than a surgery situation. So we're back to our plate. We're using our infrared map. Another great way to incorporate, technologies, flipping out of the chronic issues over to the fitness side. A lot of you ask me about combining your light therapies with your plate. Well, I'm already combining infrared, but it's kind of hard to incorporate a sauna while you're doing your vibration plate. So that's one of, again, the cool advantages of these new PEMF mats. But if you're using saunas for weight loss, chronic pain, whatever reason you're using saunas, I mentioned earlier that I do recommend using a vibration machine before and after, if possible. And what does that look like? So what does a pre or a post sauna session look like? If you're using your vibration plate simply to ramp up the results of everything else that you're doing, you really only need about 2 to 3 minutes. And what I would suggest if you're dealing with chronic issues, you're going to be laying down in your sauna, just get a little movement in the hips, especially if you've had a long day and you haven't done your workout. I would suggest 2 to 3 minutes before your sauna, before your PEMF, before your red light therapy, if you're using it, just to stimulate your system. Nothing saying you can't do a whole workout if that's your routine now. But for those of you that are not using a vibration plate prior to other treatments, I absolutely recommend it's an ideal warm up to anything else you're going to do. If you're doing exercises and you're not so stable, it's going to improve your balance before you do those exercises. And for recovery after. So, using a plate after your sauna, after your red light therapy, after the gym is a great way to expedite recovery. If there's other areas that you maybe wanted to specifically target, maybe it was arm day at the gym, but weight loss is the goal. Maybe you're doing a couple squats. It depends what the goals are. Again, if weight loss is the goal, maybe that 2 to 3 minutes before or after the sauna, it looks like squats versus just standing there. A really good cheat for my sauna users that are trying to lose weight, but you're dealing with chronic issues. A really good way to really ramp up the metabolism and get things going by combining your vibration plate with your infrared sauna. A lot of my gym goers like to do their plate after they've done the sauna. You're hot, you're sweaty, everything's loose, and it actually makes your vibration plate workout much more challenging because you're sort of at that point of fatigue and the muscles have been worked a little bit. So that's a good tip if you are looking to accelerate weight loss or you just want more challenge with your workout. Leave the working out part on your plate, the squats, the push-ups, until after you've done your sauna treatment. If you've got a device, a red light device like the belt or the panel, those are things that you can combine while you're doing your workout. I don't think that's any big secret. Many of you are already combining your red light therapies while you're using the exercise on your plate. If weight loss is the goal, I recommend the belt. It's nice and comfortable while you're on the plate. LifePro also sells a battery pack now, so you could use it without having to power it through a wall plug. And if you've got a panel, I didn't bring mine out here because I just set it up on the ceiling of all things. Both of the panels, the new one that's launching, there's a larger one coming. They have like a pulley kit where you can mount it on the ceiling. And what I've been doing, because it's summer and it's short season, I've been doing lots of massage on my legs, sitting down on the ground. So I've mounted my red light to the rafter above my machine in the basement. So it's casting down upon me while I'm doing my exercise. One of the cautions with red light, of course, is you don't want to be looking right at it. The Visicure mask being the exception to that. But if you've got it set up above you or to the side, as long as you're not sitting there staring at it for 30 minutes, it's a good way to combine the technologies passively and ramp up the benefits of both. The other good combination, I'm coming closer because I want to get more into questions now. Another favorite way to combine technologies is going to be using red light with red light. I want to make a point of saying that because I know many of you have different light. Where's my glasses? You have different light therapy tools. So probably the most common sense combination, if you've got the dome sauna, if you've got the lay down sauna, even if you've got the bigger, the booth, but you want to treat your face specifically, I love using my Visicure mask while I'm laying down in the infradome or the blankets. So I'm getting the benefit of my infrared heat. The dome, of course, also incorporates red lights. So if you are looking at and you like both technologies, it's probably a better long-term investment if you've got dedicated space for it. But again, the face is not in the sauna. So if you're looking at targeting those wrinkles or acne or, just the preventative piece, the mask is the most beautiful add-on to the sauna. So you're kind of doing a complete whole body treatment. Another very good combination is red lights combined with any of your other massage tools. So your massage guns, your foot massagers, your compression devices. It's absolutely fine to combine these technologies, but for how long and at what setting and those types of things are really things that you individually are going to have to experiment with, exercise and see what your own tolerance is. But for the most part, if you're using any of these technologies now and you're simply wanting to add something new, it's really, you're probably not going to go through much of an initiation period, if you will. I just want you to be cautious if you're starting a whole bunch of new technologies to not start them all at the same time. If something, works particularly well, or gosh, if you have a setback or an issue, it makes it hard to trouble, what was it, the red light? Was it the sauna? Did I overdo it on the machine? If you are overdoing it with your therapies, meaning, you're combining too many things, it's usually frequency or time. So you're doing too much at a time or too often. And that's usually going to present in the form of fatigue. So if you are overdoing it, too often, too long, too high a setting, you've integrated too much, everybody's starting from a different place in their health. So there is never going to be the perfect, cookie cutter sheet that LifePro will be able to provide you. What do I do for my hip replacement if I want to use my VisiCure and my vibration plate? It's kind of up to you to make sure that you give your body a chance to assimilate to each of these technologies individually. You just need to be consistent in using them. So stick with them for a week or two and then add the next thing. You'll know by then how your body's reacting, what to expect from the technology, what kind of settings and tolerances you have, and then you can add the other technology. And if, like I say, if you're adding everything, at once, sometimes it's hard to know what might have been the game changer. And preferences, there's going to be things that I like to some questions of you. I figured we'd have a few more questions about, how to combine already have versus the way that I combine things. So I have Facebook user. Hello, Miss Wilson. Nice to see you. I also have Facebook user with a question. Using the PEMF mat and the light heat, but not being covered completely is not getting the most benefit from the light and the heat. No, I disagree completely with that. Everybody's got different tolerance, so for some people, being completely enclosed in a sauna is too hot. I know back in the day in my studio, I had a lot of the traditional box saunas. And as much as I thought it was a heat issue, some people have claustrophobia issues and they don't want to get into a sleeping bag, or they don't want to, get into the dome. Infrared penetrates deeper. If you've got a concern elsewhere and you wanted to flip over and do the stomach, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. PEMF, and this isn't LifePro's information. This is my experience and information with PEMF. Most of them, the field is about a 6-inch radius. So it is penetrating through the body. And again, with the PEMF mats, it's a matter, there's never one perfect tool to treat every person's goals. You kind of got to decide on what you're looking at. What I really like about the PEMF and what you're using it for, I love sitting on, I'm on this mat every single day now, probably longer than the times I'm recommending to you guys, but I can't lay down in my sauna and type on my computer. So it's just another option depending on how you're going to use the tool. In less effective is or less benefit is really, it's kind of general. It's like asking me what's the best machine. Well, what are your goals? What are you using it for? Are you wanting to lose weight, or you just want to get a little lymph moving? So when you say you don't get the most benefit from the light and the heat, what benefits is it that you're looking for? If you're looking at weight loss and you prefer a total body treatment, yeah, maybe you want to look at one of the blankets or the dome if budget allows. PEMF is something a lot of people have been looking at as a separate therapy on its own. So, even though it's got the infrared function, perhaps, it's just the PEMF that you're looking for to add to your collection. So, Facebook user, I wouldn't say any of these therapies are more effective or more beneficial. It's more about selecting a tool that's appropriate for your intended and ongoing use. So something like the red light face mask, for an example, obviously it's designed to work on the face, but I'm thinning, like I'm getting thinner on the scalp. I'm older. I'll turn it up on my head and I'll treat the top of my head with it as well. The panel, I find it's better for a lot of my seniors that, are lacking mobility and don't necessarily want to hang on to a tool and apply it themselves. So the panels are somewhat a little bit better as more of a hands-free option. The belts are more of a wearable. So again, it really depends on what you're planning on using it for and what your overall goals are. If you prefer the full body sweat lay down treatment, and you've got the space to set up one of those devices, that might be a better choice for you. I like the mats for two reasons. The little one, like I say, obviously I can use it seated. I have a lot of wheelchair users. I work with a lot of clients that suffer with not only poor mobility, but paralysis. And it allows them to access infrared technology right in their wheelchair. For those people that are working caring for themselves at home and have limited mobility and poor range of motion, sometimes getting in and out of the sauna bags and the dome aren't necessarily the easiest way to treat your body. So the full-size mat, you could put that right on your bed under your bed sheet and sleep on it if you needed to. So again, it's more about the tools are all effective. It's more about picking something that's going to be most effective for how you plan to use it. So I hope that makes sense. Kim says, happy Tuesday from Kim in Campbell River. Kim is a client of mine. She's in one of my private coaching groups. And I probably don't know anybody that combines more of LifePro technologies together than Kim. Kim, I don't know if you have that picture of you laying on bed with all your gear on, but if you do, I'd encourage you to post it. Kim uses the infrared sauna. She's one of the clients I'm very happy to brag about. A lot of people that have infrared or heat sensitivities are kind of shied away from infrared. Kim has adapted to it very, very well. And it's actually become a very key part of her self-care. She uses a sauna bag. But Kim's got a gun. She's got light therapy. She's got vibration plates, and she's got her own little recipe of what her self-care looks like. Self-care is very, very important, not only for your physical, but your mental health. But sometimes, you get bored with the tools that you have. And so sometimes you end up with multiple tools because you just want some variety. Perhaps you're looking for different benefits. Maybe you're looking at it for using it for different things at the office. So it becomes natural to want to experiment and combining some of these, because many of you with LifePro over time end up owning more than one of their toys. Christine, hello. I did some of your exercises and stretches with the Rumblex and Bosu ball instead of the chair and feel much better today. Good idea. That's another great combo. LifePro's got a huge, could you imagine if I covered every single product that LifePro has in one live? You'd be here for 3 days with the way that I talk. But the Horizon ball, the half ball that LifePro offers is a great tool for sitting on the floor, putting your legs on the machine. It's a good little step to get on the machine. That's another perfect example. Many of you have accessories from LifePro, the fitness accessories. Any of these technologies are a great combination. And sometimes it just makes it fun to mix things up and through whatever gets you motivated to get using what you already have. Kim says, you taught me well. Kim, you're a good guinea pig. I can preach all I want, but you guys are the ones that have got to get up and do the work. So I commend you for being the queen of consistency. Christine says multitasking. that's me. I have the best of intentions with many of my therapies. And, the reason I love these lives, especially the plate workouts, is it keeps me accountable. If I got to work out for you, then I'm working out. But there are days, especially in the summer, because I'm in the garden and doing other things, there's days I go to bed and I wake up in the morning and my back's killing me and my knees killing me. And I go, oh, I didn't shake yesterday. Sometimes we just get distracted, but you certainly notice when you're not using them. Facebook user will use separately. You can use them separately. I'm assuming you are referring, if it's the same Facebook user, using the PEMF mat, light heat, but not covered completely. You can use on the PEMF mat, you can use just the PEMF, you can use just the infrared, or you can combine the two. So it's, two therapies in one, but you absolutely can use them separately, looking at what you're combining. I had a good question yesterday I'm going to bring forward from today about, if infrared is probably the one technology that is in the most light therapies. A lot of them have infrared and red light. Then you've got the sauna options. I had a user ask yesterday, well, is it okay to use my PEMF mat and then my sauna? If you've been using your sauna for a period of time, you're going to have to see what your own tolerance is. I don't recommend more than about 60 minutes max per day in your sauna, but, perhaps you're conditioning for something, or you're dealing with you're trying to expedite recovery. Everybody's tolerance is a little bit different, as is their current health, to support those durations. You can certainly experiment with that, but I would try sticking within your guidelines as you're combining technologies. So for example, if you are using infrared now for 60 minutes a day, it's probably fine to add a 20-minute session on your PEMF. Your body's already used to an hour. But if you're a brand new user and you're just a week or two in, try and keep your combination within that maximum 60 minutes a day on the infrared, simply because it is detoxifying. You tend to sweat. I want to make sure that you're not depleting yourself. That's the big thing. On the PEMF, there is an automatic time default of 20 minutes maximum treatment time. That doesn't mean that you can't use it for more than 20 minutes, but that's a pretty healthy starting point to get it simulated. Again, it's not something that you necessarily feel like you would on a vibration machine. And if you would like to add more time to your PEMF, give it a week, maybe two, especially if you're dealing with chronic issues, before you start adding time. The setting, the timer on the infrared or on the PEMF mat, if you're using a sauna function, is up to 60 minutes, but the PEMF will turn off after 20. So if you want to do another 20, just restart it or do a separate session on its own. It's fine. Again, even with PEMF and infrared, if you're overdoing it, you're probably going to start feeling fatigued and lethargic. That's usually how it represents. Same as if you're over exercising. Let me see what else. On my YouTube, sorry, I don't. I'll find that picture later. Kim loves to change it up. Variety is the spice of life, and your conditions change. If you're dealing with a chronic issue, sometimes you have good days and bad days. So combining treatments simply to reserve your existing energy levels, mental state. If it's going to take you 3-4 hours to take care of yourself every day, it's not very motivating. It's almost like work at that point. So the number one reason I like to combine my technologies for myself personally is I'm a very busy mom, and I still got kids at home that I'm raising and homeschooling and, working with you folks. So I like to combine mine to reduce time. I do see a ramp up in effectiveness. I noticed the other day, I'm not a huge sweater. In the saunas, I have pretty good tolerance. I've got the thing cranked, and I'm usually not sweating till I'm about 10-15 minutes into it. I was roasting on my PEMF mat yesterday, and I don't know if it's because I was sitting up and it was just more localized on the area I was trying to target, but my back and my bum and even in the front here between the girls, I was breaking a sweat. So it is absolutely effective. But like I say, I'm in love with this new mini mat and it's the versatility of its application. Kim says that her plate is every day. That's a good point. Sometimes combining it isn't combining every time. Maybe you're using your vibration plate every day and you're using your massage gun or your your infrared sauna every day. But a vibration machine, like I say, is kind of the foundation of my care circle. Everything revolves around it. And years and years and years ago, where I started experimenting with the red light, next hack tip, many studios, weight loss clinics, these types of places are using red lights and lasers for to accelerate the benefits of weight loss and improving skin tone. But I will caution you, you need to help assist the process, in my opinion. A lot of the commercial red light therapy devices, even though they're not telling you this, there should be a post-exercise component. You've wrapped your body up, you've disturbed all this stuff in your system, and you doing, whether you're going for a walk, using your treadmill, your bike, your vibration plate. If you are using red light therapy to lose weight, I recommend there should be a post activity of some kind. Get things moving, do your workout. And what I found in a lot of these facilities back in the day, why I was putting vibration machines into them, is many of them didn't want to do treadmills, or their clients weren't doing a walk after they did their red light sessions. So it's not uncommon to see a vibration plate incorporated with red light technology. You see that in a lot of the gyms. But it's a really good idea if weight loss or detoxification are your goals for your infrared or your red light therapies, to do a little bit of a jog or a walk or a shake to just help better expedite, recover, and help your body continue on that process. Facebook user, the red light sauna blanket gives me the most pain relief, and now we'll use PEMF, also both with no clothing. I love going in my skivvies. What I find it depends on I've got all the different saunas with LifePro, and I do find in the bag or the sauna, I like to put a towel down once I do start to sweat. It's just waterworks. So if you're in a commercial facility, saunas are kind of self-sanitizing. They're not the easiest things to clean, but I would recommend, if you're using any of these products in a commercial or a service-based business, it's not a bad idea to invest in some towels, especially in the bags. It's nice to put one on the bottom, and I'll actually put one over top of me so that it's absorbing these pools of sweat, and it's less cleaning out of my sauna. For those of you that are wanting to wear clothing in the sauna, try to wear cotton, jute, linen. Wear natural fabrics if you are going to wear clothing in the sauna. Some of the polyesters and the lycras out there nowadays actually make you sweat more, and it gets a little bit uncomfy. So if you are going to be wearing clothing in the sauna, I recommend absolutely go with organic cottons and things like that. But keep me posted, Facebook user. Again, I think you know what I'm talking about. I love my sauna, but it's not easy to get into my bag and continue working. So what I am finding, since I've gotten the PEMF, I'm actually more consistent in doing my infrared because it's convenient. It's summer. I haven't been as diligent because the heat is out there, but I do notice when I'm not doing my infrared, just some of my aches and my pains, the detoxification benefits of it. So I find, since I've gotten the mats, I'm actually using it daily since they've shown up. The PEMF I've been using a little bit more in addition. I'll tend to move to the couch, and I've been using PEMF for quite some time. And, 60 minutes a day isn't unheard of in my world. Or a cotton sheet. Yeah, that's another great idea in your sauna. Just something to help you breathe and absorb that sweat a little bit is a good idea. And unnatural fabrics are never our friend when we're sweating. Other questions, I could probably, like I say, talk for 2 days about the different combinations of how you combine things. But the main reason, again, besides time, is to obviously, you're looking at combining these things because you want more benefits. And sometimes variety, mixing things up, is a good way to kind of reset and recharge the body. Your body gets used to anything after a period of time, whether it's exercise or the settings you're using. So it's a good idea with any of your technologies, when you're combining them, if you've been in a routine and doing the same thing for a period of time, the body gets used to anything after a period of time, and you may be maintaining, but it feels like you're plateauing. You're not digressing, but you're not seeing an improvement, or the changes aren't progressing. Mix it up, even if you are combining technologies. So change your sauna temperature, change your settings on your compressions, do a different program on your vibration machine, whatever it is that you're looking at combining. If you've been using the same settings for a period of time, I recommend mixing those things up. Keeps the body confused and accountable, and keeps those positive changes going forward. Any other questions? Now is the time. You have me. I'm captivated. I rambled for 2 hours yesterday between the benefits and the contras and just being Debbie. But if anyone has questions, please ask those now. If you do not, combining these again is pretty much common sense. What combination, settings, dosage, this is all a very individual thing, and I recommend experimenting. One of my favorite slogans in life, self-created, is you are only limited by your imagination and your range of motion, and the latter will absolutely improve. So, sometimes combining these things just makes the exercise piece that you'd like to do more possible. There's a lot of different reasons you're motivated to combine these tools. Stop being curious and start experimenting. If you are watching this on a recorded basis after the fact and you do have questions, please tag me at Debbie with a Y. Sometimes the questions in the comments get a little on the huge side. And if you don't tag me, I may or may not necessarily get a notification. So if there's something you want me specifically to address, or you have a question after something that I've said today in the live and you'd like to ask me, please tag me at Debbie in the comments, and then everyone can benefit from the response. Christine says, I assume the mini mat is more convenient than the big one to use more frequently. Not real. I mean, it depends how you're using it. I think it depends if you have a dedicated space. The full mat, which I don't have set up out here, is about the size of a twin mattress. Not quite as long. It's very generous in its size. It's a little on the heavier side. And if you're going to be using it on a regular basis, sleeping on it or putting it on your bed, a guest bed, I've set mine up on a camp cot. I've got the space to do that. It works awesome on my it's just a folding camp frame. So that's a good idea. So, if you find that you can, escape for a half, if you're a napper, it probably, I have had some people sleep on it, Christine. It's firm. If you like a firm mattress, you probably will find it very comfortable. If you like a super soft, or you got a million toppers on your bed, you might find it a little firmer than what you're used to. But I already have a couple of clients that are sleeping on it, and there are commercial models out there that's what they're designed to do. So again, be creative. I don't think I wouldn't sleep on it and have it running all night, but I'll tell you what a great way to warm up the bed and get some treatment while you're trying to get the sleep. It'll just automatically shut off. So that would be a good way to use it regularly. The mini mat, again, it really depends on how you're using it. I like the mini mat in my chair. And as I said, I've got a lot of wheelchair users where, getting themselves in and out of, a treatment area, if there's poor mobility or paralysis, is not as easy as getting that therapy throughout the course of the day. These will fit in pretty much a standard wheelchair. So that's the one thing I do like about them. But they're also really, they're a good fit in a decent office chair. I think you'll find it quite comfortable. So if you find that you've got chronic symptoms, Facebook user, and it's running, those symptoms are building throughout the course of the day, the mini mat would probably be a good consideration. Manage those symptoms throughout the course of the day. It's just something to put some thought into. I can't put the PEMF on a memory foam on top. I wouldn't put a memory foam on top of it. No, I wouldn't do that, because with the infrared, I don't know that there's, something in the manual that says you can't, but I think it would probably wear on your memory topper, and it would probably absorb a bit of the therapy that you're trying to subject your body to. So ideally, what I'm talking about is on your bed, maybe just under your sheet or a thin mat. But if you've got something that's like 3-4 inches thick, I wouldn't recommend putting that on top of the mat. But here's a scenario. I don't know what your mobility is like. You could have the mat on there, and if you're just in a single bed situation, You could probably put your mattress topper on top of it while you sleep after, but then you got the sheet and all that other kind of crap to deal with. So experiment with that one. I'd be curious to get some feedback from you. The only reason I raised that is it was a question. I did a larger demo, showed you how to test the mats, and I had them side by side. I can drop that video here after just to give you guys a little bit more perspective on the size. I'll pull that out of YouTube and drop that for you. I joined late. Sorry if this has been addressed. I'm a new Rumblex user. I'm using the Rumblex to run the BioHeal while on the plate. What is the good distance to place the BioHeal to derive the best benefit? I usually use the BioHeal at close proximity for my specific areas, so this will be my first time combining. I think it really depends on you. If you've been using your red light for a period of time, your body's already adapted to it. That's a tough question. Mine's quite a ways away. The larger panel I just received, I just mounted above the ceiling. As I said, I'm trying to target hair loss, but I'm using it because I'm laying down. So my red light is on the ceiling and I'm down on the ground and I'm still seeing the red light effects. If it's more the infrared that you're going for, you'd probably want to get that a little bit closer to your body. What I would recommend, and I don't have it in here, I've got a little, it's like a little table I got at IKEA that's got casters on the bottom, so I can pull it closer or further away versus permanently mounting it on something. But it really depends on what you're trying to do. Why I like combining the red light with the infrared and the goals that I'm trying to accomplish are maybe different than yours. I'm going for the medicinal. I need to chill. I need to be not so high energy. I'm trying to clear up my face. I'm really bad for breaking out in the summer when I'm putting my makeup and all that crap on. So if you're using it for severe pain, you may want to use it while you're using your vibration machine at whatever distance. And then if you find you need a little extra treatment, just get a little bit closer up. It would be more than fine to do an additional session after, especially if, once you've been using technologies for a while, and with red light in particular, it's really hard to overdo it. Your body's really only going to take what it needs out of the process. And what you'll find with red light and infrared over time is once your body kind of becomes adapted to it, you generally get similar benefits in less time. Your body knows what it needs and it just gets to work. And it's working more efficiently at that point. If you're doing your therapies consistently, you should be improving and not need as much treatment time. I hope that sort of answers your question. If you want to get it close to you, depending on which panel you have, if you're doing standing exercises, you may want to set it up on a table where you're a little bit closer. If you're sitting down on the ground and doing massage and things like that, it might be easier to get it a little bit closer to you that way. Or like I say, put it on a table. But I would say you want to have it at least, if you're dealing with pain and you're trying to address that, if you're using the infrared, you probably want to have it within at least 6 to 12 inches to you. If you really want to feel the heat, you'd want to get it closer, of course. I hope that answers. Great info. Thank you, Debbie. My pleasure. Facebook user, whomever you are. Again, if there's any questions here, this is the time to ask. If I've talked you to sleep already and you're just lethargic, feel free to drop me questions later on. Just tag me at Debbie with a Y. So varieties of the spice of life. You absolutely can combine any of these technologies together. You need to first make sure that you're assimilated to each of them. Don't start everything all at once. You won't know what's working or not working. If you need to troubleshoot, was it the machine? Was it the sauna? And make sure, I know this seems like a common sense thing, but please review the contraindications. I've gotten a lot of messages this week, private messages or anonymous posts. I have such and such, and it's a contraindication. Should I be using a product? I hope you're doing this homework before you make the purchase. There's very, very few contraindications with any of these technologies, but there are some. I tend to be less conservative than LifePro. Really, the only reason you couldn't use any of these technologies is if you're in a state of health and you're not sure what your treatment plan is going to be. You should absolutely have that discussion with your doctor to make sure that any of these technologies are appropriate. If you are dealing with DVT, blood clotting, and you are not to be increasing circulation as advised by your care provider, I would have a discussion with them first before you commit to any of these long term. The only exception with PEMF is if you have metal implants. It's not a hard stop. Depends on the type of implant, but I wouldn't recommend placing it directly over electrical implants. So the pacemakers, defibrillators, metal shunts. You want to make sure that it's appropriate to combine that technology. Low EMF, low intensity, which is what LifePro brings in most of the consumer brands. If you're looking at a $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 device, you're going to a commercial facility. They tend to be much higher in the wave. The intensity of the waves are much stronger, and they may affect metal implants. So we're not talking about the whole, this isn't going to bug your hip or your knee replacement, but I do recommend, I don't know what type of knee replacement or hip replacement that you've had. Generally speaking, they are safe with low field EMF, but I would recommend just having that conversation with your doctor to be certain and make sure it's appropriate. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to brag and say I wrapped up in an hour today, which isn't too bad considering some of the stuff we're talking about. You are only limited by your imagination and your range of motion. And myself, Roseanne, and Amber are here with sessions weekly on a variety of topics to help you navigate through the hoops on some of these things. Sometimes with technologies, you have them and you haven't used them for a while. So if you haven't used any of your technologies in 3 to 4 months, it's kind of like starting over again to a degree. Maybe it's worth watching some of the introduction videos. If you have a vibration plate, please, 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 when you get your machine in the box, there is a getting started tips. And a lot of the videos, of course, online, catered to help you be successful with whatever your self-care tools and approach to using them might be. So thank you for joining me. I'm always looking for session ideas. If there's something you guys want me to talk about, if I haven't talked about it, if you want me to talk about it again, please send your ideas into LifePro or myself. I know what I want to talk about, but sometimes there's things that you guys want to talk about. And if there's something that hasn't been addressed or on some of these new products, especially, just let us know. I will see you next Monday, same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not sure what I'm going to talk about just yet, but I'm sure it'll be something interesting. And like I say, if you do have suggestions, we're open to those anytime. Thank you for joining me. The last 2 days have been a little bit more on the information side, a little bit less active. We're going to get back to some sort of a routine or a workout for next week. So I look forward to seeing you with any of these events. I always remind you when you see the event come up or you see it come on the feed, if you want to attend, please be sure that you go in and mark attending or interested. Maybe you can't make it to the event, but you want to, see any of the comments in the event or find the recording after the fact. Always go in and say interested or going, and then you'll get event updates if there's a time change, if something has happened, and then that way you're up to speed. So again, thanks very much. Any of LifePro's products, I have a discount code of 10%. The code is LYMPH, LYMPH. You can shop with them direct online to get that discount, and always check them out on Amazon as well. LifePro sells in both places. Look for the better deal, because sometimes there's deals in one place but not in the other, depending on what Amazon's doing. So shop around for that as well. I'm going to drop a link to the other video where I compared the 2 PEMF mats. And on both sessions today, I'll post yesterday's session here and today's session and yesterday's session in case you missed one or the other. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate your support. Don't work too hard, and have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much.